And we are live.
Episode 2.
Yeah, well, I said live, but I guess this isn't really live at all for the people listening.
Maybe one day. It's live for them.
Yeah, exactly.
One day we'll be live. Hopefully. If
Meanwhile,
I
we're
watch
all gonna be dead.
if I watch enough YouTube videos, it might be live today.
Like tutorial videos?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. I like it.
So how was your day today?
Hmm. Oh, well. It was actually pretty good. I woke up, didn't really do much other than like laundry and setting up for the D&D campaign. But
When is that going down?
Well, the first portion has already begun, which means that you and I have to have a conversation, actually.
Aren't we doing that right now?
All right, but if, say, the other members of our D&D group were to hear the conversation I need to have with you, it may ruin some stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so I set up some of that, and then I got an interesting call from my girlfriend. And it was that there was a shooting at the airport nearby.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you who may or may not remember, I do live in Miami. So that's
And
like a stone's throw out of the way.
Yeah, and most of my friends and family live in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, one of our friends were literally at the Fort Lauderdale airport. Not inside the airport, but the airport loop while the shooting was going down. Not really funny, but kind of
Well,
sucky.
it was in the departure area.
Yeah. He actually got lost, and he was trying to get to Gainesville, which is hundreds of miles north of it.
Like, really, though. It's from where he was when he got lost, like, the other end of Florida.
Yeah. But, so, I read what? 5 people were killed?
Yeah, something like 5 people killed and 8 people injured, or maybe they keep raising numbers every time I check that out. You have news available to you right now. You can look that up.
I have the CNN slash, well, and Fox News up here.
What?
Supposedly, this man, he used to be in the armed forces, which kind of sucks.
Right, like
For,
yeah, bad publicity.
well, not really. He was in the National Guard.
Oh, that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. He was in the reserve. He was just it's like weekend warrior. But I could only say that because I actually served in the active duty in the Navy.
Yeah, until just recently, almost.
Yeah, September 11th is the day I got out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and something that a lot of people aren't saying is, I hear from my sources that he was actually an ISIS, what is it? ISIS member, not member, but associate, and might have done the shooting for that reason.
Now, by your sources, of course, you mean your sweet, nifty, top secret job, yeah?
I can either deny or confirm that at this moment.
Well, that's kind of cool. Well,
Yeah.
not like, yay, ISIS, but that, you get to say that and actually mean it. I still think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. What I think we're going to see in the next couple days, well, if you actually look into it, that he was a radical Muslim, Because the problem is nowadays, if it is, they'll probably say it in a newspaper 2 weeks from now, and they'll say, although he was talking to ISIS or this and that, we still really don't know what the motive of the shooting was. And I'm just like, I hate all of you.
Well, now I have a question for you because I know you have quite the opinion in these matters.
Yeah, I do.
Due to your job and stuff like that, and the things you've had to deal with for the last 4 years now.
Yeah, so I'll give a little backstory on that. The past 4 years, I've worked for the United States Navy, intelligence side of their intelligence side. I've been working for what's known as the IC, the intelligence community, and so I hold a clearance with the government. And what I would do is an intelligence analyst for the Navy when I was active duty, and now I'm a contractor for the Department of Defense.
Exactly. So my question for you, um, sorry, now I feel like I'm interviewing you on the air. But anyway, so my question for you is that it does seem that our cultural situation right now is that should there be any sort of radical action taken, whether it be a shooting or a bombing or even sometimes some sort of attack in the street, we do automatically suggest ties with ISIS. But on the other end of this, it is also ISIS's prerogative to create the chaos and such in the world to help boost this extremism and stuff and such like that, right? So, how much of this do you think is us suggesting it and them taking sort of like the blame for their own good? And how much of this do you think is truly like a direct connection?
Well, I would say after any incident or terrorist act, if you have the name of the suspected individual, the FBI would know within, I would say, 4 hours. Because when there's something that happens like this, you have a team looking into the background of the person who did the terrorist act. Like the guy who shot the 50 gay guys in Orlando.
Yeah.
They knew, not even within the hour, because all they knew is they looked up his name and they already realized they've been looking at him for a while. They knew why he did this. Or
yeah,
at
it
least
was like insta-flagged, right?
Or at least not why he did it, but the possible motive. For somebody like the person who shot up Fort Lauderdale, all you need is their name, and the FBI will get authorization to look in their house, through their computers, through their Facebook, through their email, through their PlayStation 4, through their Skype, through their WhatsApp, automatically. Because it's to the point where you need to find out if this man is working alone, or is he coordinating with some other person to attack other places around the same time. So when I hear from a source like the FBI or a sheriff's department that they have ties to ISIS, I'm pretty certain that they're not wrong about that. And sometimes there are, when there's an attack that happens, ISIS will just jump on the bandwagon and be like, yeah, that was our guy. He was our bro. He took one for the team. No. But there's many times around the world where you see incidents happen where ISIS could do that, but they don't. Like a couple of years ago, the French airliner that crashed in the Alps.
Yeah.
So ISIS could have easily said, yeah, that was us. But it wasn't that. It was just some pilot who wanted to kill himself and went crazy and wanted to take a whole plane down with himself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't actually help ISIS to say, hey, every incident that mass people were murdered was us, because if you do some digging, you'll realize they'll just be bullshitting. So when usually ISIS says that it was one of their targets or one of their assets, I believe it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
Cool.
there is definitely a part where people are afraid to, I would say, talk about it at first, or they're just assuming it might be ISIS or radical Muslims or something like that. But you don't know until you know, actually.
Well put. Truly. Well put. You don't know till you know actually.
It's true. Technically not wrong.
You're not wrong at all.
I
In
don't know.
fact,
What do you
I
think
want that
about it?
on my headstone.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think I pretty much described it sort of on that, is that you do point out that if, like, say the FBI or somebody with all that clearance and ability to do that background check in rather rapid in a short amount of time, you would expect them to not, like, just lie about it. Like, if you hear from them, yeah, obviously they wouldn't say it unless, they thought that to be true. Probably. Unless, certain circumstances may actually benefit it to lead the suspicion over there and then leave certain things out. But, I think really my situation was, that a lot of these places like CNN or, NBC and these news centers and such, especially Fox, for instance, they'll jump to that automatically, and I'm not sure if they do it necessarily to like cover their butts or to make it seem like if it does come out that they're ISIS, then they were the first ones to say so, which I'm sure there's that pressure also. But that's really what I was thinking about, was more like the news outlets always saying that it is, and then sometimes it comes out later, like, oh, nope, never mind.
I don't know if that's 100%. Like, especially with places like CNN and MSNBC, their culture is not to say Islamic terrorism or extremism like that as so quick, because I definitely am under the impression where they're paid not to bring it up as much. That's just my opinion. But with Fox, I think they rather be first, not factual at times. But the percentage they actually get it wrong is actually very low. Because believe it or not, these people have sources that will tell them first because they get money too. They're like, somebody on the ground over there gets wind of what's happening. They can sell that. That's money right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know it's going to be news in an hour from now, why not get an extra $1,000 just to tell somebody it's what's happening?
Right.
I think that's most of it. But I doubt, when it comes to things like this, I don't see the giant majority of mass media be like, yeah, he was a Muslim, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I think it's more of, his name was Osama bin Laden, and he shot 40 people. We still don't know why the motive of the shooting. And he was heard screaming Allahu Akbar. We don't know if he was just afraid, so he might have been praying. There's some, we don't really know the motive until we get down to the nitty gritty.
You
And
know,
I'm
you
just,
are very correct. That, when I think about it, sometimes, like, I do read things, and that is exactly how it goes.
yeah, especially on like CNN early morning shows, they won't even say Allahu Akbar. They will say, "Praise be God" in Arabic. They say, and he was known screaming "Praise be God" in Arabic. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's not the translation.
Nope.
The direct translation is "Oh my God." So when you watch some videos online where you see some guy saying Allahu Akbar, that just means "Oh my God." Like, say there was an explosion, you'll hear a lot of people saying Allahu Akbar in the Middle East because they're like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?"
No, they're all guilty.
No, they're all guilty. But you'll see stuff like that, and that kind of it angers me a little bit just because I'm more of the I'm type of the person like you you're just blatantly being a little biased right there
Mm-hmm.
when you don't want to connect the dots. But that's just me.
I mean, do you see it sort of as that, what pop culture has coined as reverse racism, sort of? Or do you see it more as a political correct fear kind of thing?
Political correct fear.
All
I
right.
definitely see that. They don't want to be blamed for inciting uh, violence amongst a group or something like that. You know, instead of talking about the people who are injured or the place that was shot up, they will talk about how when a shooting like this or a terrorist act happens, how hate crimes of Muslims go up when they actually really don't. You know, instead of
Mm-hmm.
talking about the terrorist act, they'll talk about, oh, look over here. You know, this is more important.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know, but I have a different perspective of it because I was in the military and I actually work in a field where I'm kind of desensitized on a lot of things. You
I
know?
mean, you kind of need to be, though, right?
Yeah. For us at work, you know, when we talk about bombings and stuff like this, it kind of gets morbid and we have to we don't really even like put emotion into it because we're just like, oh yeah, another guy shot up or blew up something in Turkey or Syria, killed like 50 people. We're like, wow, that sucks. Or we'll make a joke about it.
Yeah, it kind of just becomes like since it's part of your job, it's just like a factual thing. It's like, oh, yep, that happened. There's no point in
Yeah,
beating around the bush or anything like that.
yeah. But that's just my take on it because of my background. I'm actually more curious on your take because you're a freshly graduated college student. So,
I mean, a year ago, so yeah, I guess that's fresh enough.
still fresh.
Um, and I'm, as you know, and they probably don't know, I'm going into secondary school teaching. So, hoping to be teaching sciences, social sciences, something on a high school or middle school level.
Hopefully, you can mold the brains of our future.
I mean, that's exactly why I want to do it. Get a little army ready. I'm just kidding. If anybody finds this later on,
He's not kidding.
um, no,
This is
but
phase one to start to take over the world.
um, are you kidding? Phase one is well, you've read Orson Welles' uh, wow. Suddenly I can't remember anything, and I'm like surrounded by 1,000+ books right now.
That is
Um,
true.
Um, 18. 20? Oh man, I don't want to like venture anything. Uh,
No,
but you've
I don't
read it. It's famous. It's
have I. I don't think I have read it.
I think you definitely have, if not just heard of it. It's all about how Big Brother and you know their role and how knowledge is power and such.
Hmm.
You never had to read that.
No.
It's a year. The name of the book is a year. And I
Oh, I
cannot
think I know what you're talking about.
remember. I keep thinking like 1812 or something,
No,
but
I
that's
think I
not
know.
right.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Um, I wish I knew what I was talking about,
It's
because that would
okay.
make things a lot easier. And I know it's on that shelf in front of me, but it's being blocked by books.
Other books.
That is the true problem of my life. There's books over there, under books, behind more books.
That is a lot of books. What have you been watching recently,
Oh,
other than podcasts and YouTube?
yes, because I watch all the podcasts. Um, I've been watching Elementary.
You know, I actually like that show a lot.
Me too. I I I originally I was a little worried about it because of course the whole sex change with Watson and a couple other issues that I may have anticipated.
I
But
kind of like the sex change in Moriarty.
yeah, me too.
I
Me
forget
too.
how many seasons deep I'm in that show, but started watching it when I ran out of Sherlock, and I was kind of in a very big Sherlock Holmes hunger. And
1984, by the way.
1984. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. Go on though.
I was in a big Sherlock Holmes hunger, and so I started watching Elementary because I told myself I would never watch Elementary. First of all, because he never says Elementary in the books, and second of
Right?
all, because Watson was a girl, an Asian girl, and they were in New York, and so many other reasons.
I know, it was
But
just like piled on.
it kind of felt more like House to me, so that's what I. But did enjoy it.
Yeah, I just finished watching the fourth season, and right now, as we are recording this, I think they're in the fifth.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I got into it, and it turned out it was honestly pretty good. Um, it's such a different take on the character of Sherlock, and they play up that whole like drug problem thing because of he used to do heroin, um, to help himself out and stuff. So they play that up, and the fact that they really went to extremes on all the facets instead of just like a few really helped it be okay and work out. Because if they had just like say changed Watson and changed the location and that was it, that would have honestly probably bombed.
Yeah, I definitely think they could have. It was an easy show to mess up, and they actually did it pretty decently. But I actually have been watching a show called Killjoys. Have you watched that show?
I saw the first season. I have yet to actually watch the second. I want to know your take.
I really like it. I like it.
How does it relate in your head with say Firefly?
Hmm. Especially in the second season, which I'm like halfway into, it has a very big Firefly feel of not the characters of like the storyline.
Okay.
Um, yeah, there's a storyline that they're trying to pull off where there's this not disease, but a procedure that they do to humans that will make them like superhumans, and they're trying to take over other humans. And it's very interesting. It's I don't want to give anything away because you're about to watch the second season.
Yeah.
I like it. I started watching it because I watched that show you told me to watch, Dark Matter,
Yeah, right.
which I am caught up to it. I liked it, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
my
not like fantastic or anything, but it's
No.
definitely not like a waste of time watching.
It's sci-fi, so it made me keep on watching
Yeah.
because I'm at to the point where I'm out of sci-fi to watch. And so I started watching Dark Matter, and I know Killjoys are were on the same show on Sci-Fi, and so I always wanted to see that. It was a lot. It's a lot better than Dark Matter.
Amen.
It's
You
a
are
lot.
100% correct.
There's a better feel to it. It's a better developed, better story arc. Dark Matter just goes too slow and fast at times.
What I think with Dark Matter anyway is that they had this brilliant premise, right? This whole idea of waking up and not knowing who you are, and then you're on
Yeah.
this ship with a bunch of other people, and they're all saying they don't know who they are, and it's like if you were in those shoes, it would be really intense and really that would be an amazing story, like discovering who you are and stuff. But to drag it out in the show how they did, and really sort of how they segmented each episode was, yeah, I guess exactly how you said it. In some points it was like a lot of things happened in one episode, and in other episodes it was like nothing really happened, but not in a filler episode kind of way, because it was still a major development, but in a you took an entire episode to make that happen kind of way.
Yeah, I was happy because there were no filler episodes, but at the same time, I was just like, you're taking all my time to watch very slow movement in this. And then another times I'll be on my phone for 2 seconds. I'll be like, wait, how did this happen?
Right.
When did this happen? And I have to rewind it just because I literally skipped 2 minutes. Or I was just glazed over for 2 minutes because I thought it was a slow episode.
Yeah, you do that. You tend to get distracted in the middle of episodes, should they not be necessarily packed with things and such.
Yeah, if it's episode's too slow, I'll play video games during episodes. Like that's how I got through seasons of like Next Generation and Discovery, Deep Space Nine. I had it set up where I would play on my computer video games, and then I would have my other computer just like keep on going with Deep Space Nine, and I would just keep on doing that.
I don't know. I honestly thought there was a couple episodes in Deep Space Nine that really like you could not take your eyes away from it.
Oh, definitely. I liked.
But you are right.
A lot of episodes. I like how they did Deep Space Nine. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I'm
me
actually
too.
more excited for the new Star Trek series.
Oh, don't tell me anything. I really want to go into it like fresh eyes.
Well,
I haven't even looked at like the casting stuff. I know you
This-
sent some to the fam chat that we have, and I saw them and I've pushed them out of my head.
the synopsis is just honestly, it's 20 years before Star Trek original, and the only thing I hope they do is the Klingon Wars or the Romulan Wars. That's what.
Which we had spoken about last podcast, I believe, for a little bit
Yeah.
too.
Did we talk about Star Wars and Carrie Fisher
We did.
and the whole? What do you think they're gonna do?
We spoke about it, and I had pointed out that they said like they finished filming everything. he said, yeah, but like, what if she's not like dead in that one? Then are they just gonna like pull a whole Tarkin thing on her in this new episode after that? Uh, and yeah, so we had spoken about that
I
definitely.
I watched the best movie theory today on who Ray's parents is today, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it was one of the best. They say a Ray is a Kenobi,
What?
and I'm not saying daughter, granddaughter.
Like why?
So the theory is uh, Kenobi had relations with the Mandalorian queen, Sabine.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They cover that in the the cartoon, the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. And in Star Trek Rebels, you
Star
have
Trek Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels. You have Sabine or Serene. I forget the name of the girl, the Mandalorian.
Oh, Savine, right?
Savine, I think. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I
Who?
don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Rebels.
So in the previous episodes, right, in the Clone Wars, Darth Maul killed Sabine with the black saber,
Mm-hmm.
and where we are with Rebels is Sabine. They were hanging out with Darth Maul again, and they went to his home, and there's a mural to Serene, the Mandalorian Empress,
Yeah, yeah.
with the black saber, and Sabine. God, hold on, let me look that name. I can't.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've gotta say, as much of a nerd as I am, names just don't work out. They just don't.
Yeah, it's a Sabine. So the character's name's Sabine Wren, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And so they're insinuating Sabine is Serene's daughter, her and Kenobi's daughter,
Hmm.
because we know Obi-Wan Kenobi and Serene have relations,
And they were very, very, very close.
and that Obi-Wan Kenobi loved her, and she loved him enough so that he would keep the secret for him. So if there's definitely a chance that she got knocked up, and just kept it secret so Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't have to get kicked out, and never told Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hmm. Well, see, Kenobi's one of these, like. Sometimes he's a very dynamic character, and sometimes he's not, depending on what point and stage of his life you're looking at. But, he. How do I phrase this? The idea of him having that action going on is, to me, not entirely likely. Like, yes, he loved her, and yes, he even loved Anakin, and he definitely had more of this positive, strong emotion than Jedi are suggested or even allowed to have, really. Because we have this Jedi Order doctrine where any extreme, like, emotion leads to the dark side. So, yes, he's a very emotional, lawful, good character, but to expect him, I can't imagine him betraying the code on such an extreme level
But
as
in the
that.
Clone Wars show, he did though. They show him like kissing her, and actually they insinuate they were having sex.
I didn't catch on to the whole, like, carnal relations thing. Yes, there are kisses and stuff, like that, but I didn't catch anything of a deeper implication, personally.
I don't know. I think I think Obi-Wan Kenobi did the whoopee.
Um, but so you are suggesting that, or well, they were suggesting, and you are now, sort of agreeing on that level as it being a possibility, is that he and her got together, had the child. The child is Sabine from Rebels, and
Yeah.
then she had a child, and that child is Rey.
So Sabine with somebody had a child, and that's Ray.
Now,
So
well, go on, go on.
her and Ezra Bridger,
One can hope.
which would make sense why they had to leave her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, it's starting to make sense.
Now, let's suspend any disbelief here, and let's talk about the implication that that could have in the storyline of Rey. Like, think about that. She has Mandalorian blood in her. That can only lead to, like, I can't even count the number of scenarios that could occur in the future. I mean, one of my favorite times in the Star Wars universe is the Mandalorian Wars.
It could bring up a lot of things that a lot of Star Wars fans that only watch the movies don't know, which are and so it's it's a hit or miss. And if you question yourself, well, they won't bring a cartoon character into the movies. Well, that was all Rogue One.
Right? Like, that was a good, like, probably an hour worth of the entire movie.
Like, what's the black guy's name? The guy from the beginning of it.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now. Like I said, names, me, not that good.
Yeah. He was his first time he ever was brought up in the Star Wars anthology was in the cartoons.
Yeah. I want to say it was,
Clone Wars.
it was Clone Wars? I thought it was Rebels.
It was no, he was in Clone Wars first, and then he was in Rebels.
Okay, okay.
So they definitely, and the ghost was in the movie 100 different times.
It's so good. I'm so happy I got to see that again.
I definitely think that they might bring movie references into the show references into the movie. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I mean, I have no doubt. They made that clear distinction between the whole EU versus canon thing, and they specifically went out of their way to make sure that these the cartoons that are occurring now and such, these animated portions are canon.
Yeah.
They could have easily just been like, oh, it's a spin-off, whatever, and saved themselves time and given themselves artistic integrity. But they didn't. They actually fought for the fact that these should be canon, which means that they can easily draw on these storylines and not have an issue.
I agree. So what's new in the life of Dane? How close are you to becoming a teacher?
Ha. 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 Alright, well, first, let's do a quick background of this here. Dane's quest to be a teacher.
Which will never happen.
Shh. So, the first thing that occurred was me graduating. Right, I graduated a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago now, and I graduated with a minor in education. What that means is that I majored in psychology personally, and then I took supplementary courses, so I took 15 credits worth of other classes. Actually, more than 15 credits, like quite a bit more than 15 credits, but that's the minimum for a minor. Anyway, so I took this, and I was handed a sheet of paper that said, hey, since you have a minor, you can be a teacher. I was like, awesome. That's exactly what I want. So I followed the rules on there, did everything, and it turned out, after finishing all the things on that paper, I had not done enough. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Because I found this out by essentially getting a job offer to be a substitute. And them being like, hey, you can't be a substitute. I was like, why? And they're like, oh, you don't have an employee ID number. I was like, yeah, that's because I'm not an employee. They're like, no. You get that before you're an employee. I'm like, what kind of backwards world is this? It reminded me a lot of Through the Looking Glass, really. But anyway, so they send me back. I go on this thing called Teacher Match, and I'm like, hey, I would like to, do this whole sub thing so that I can be a teacher. They're like, awesome. Let us check you out. And they check me out, and they're like, hey, we need you to prove that you're you. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. Can you, give us any character, witness stuff? Just a couple letters proving that you're a good person. And I'm like, yeah. Why didn't you guys say this in, the requirements and stuff? They're like, oh, 'cause, we don't think you're you. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. You have two social security numbers. You have two names and one social security number. I'm like, yeah. That's because I'm adopted. They're like,
For anybody
adopted?
who didn't know, Dane's old name used to be Big Dick Johnson, and he didn't think he could live life with that name.
Actually, I still use that on my porn opportunities and such.
So just Google right now, Big Dick Johnson.
I actually don't do that. Man, why did I say that? This is what's going to be cited when they're like, nope, you can't be a teacher.
You did porn.
Be like, I swear, it's not me. Look at him. They're gonna be like, we'd rather not. Yeah, me too. Me too. Anyway, so they're like, you're not adopted. I'm like, yes, I am. Don't you see that, second tab that just popped up? And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, well, because I've seen this already. I just had 2 background checks done. They're like, oh, well, nope. Still need to prove it. So they then required me to go to all of my previous employers and provide proof that I had worked there. And all this other stuff. And it took about, almost a year. A little less than a year. Finally...
Still not a teacher.
Yeah. Finally got all that done. And they were like, alright, if you would be so kind, just take this course at college. And I was like, why? I'm like, 'cause we need you to take a course to make sure you can teach to be a substitute. It's like, so the minor doesn't count for anything? And they're like, nah. It's like, so is it an education major thing? Did I just miss out on that course? And they're like, oh no, anybody could do it. Literally get out of high school, take this course, and you're good. You can be a substitute.
Are you
Um,
saying I could be a substitute right now?
yeah, apparently a lot easier than I could. What I'm saying is that if you started right now to try to be a teacher, you'd probably succeed before I did.
And I just want everybody to realize how much money you have spent to go into a job that pays so little money.
Let me go through this again. 75 times 2, so that's 150, $160. Then $71 for background check. So that is
Hold on, I'm getting the calculator out.
that's $235.
You said 75 times 2.
Or sorry, $231.
You said 75 times 2.
Yeah, then add $71 to that.
Okay.
Then add, oh gosh, what was it? It was, I have it written down over there, $178.
Okay.
Then add $30. Then add $75 again. And am I missing anything else here?
How much did you pay to get your degree?
Oh no, I'm not gonna count that because theoretically I could be doing other jobs right now instead, so that I'm not gonna count that as helping in there. Though technically I paid a total of like $100
So far you've spent
for
500.
textbooks.
Oh, you spent hundreds of dollars on textbooks. That's true.
That's it.
All right, I'll just say $150 on textbooks, even though they're a lot more.
Yeah, that sounds like one textbook.
Yeah. So, in all, you have spent over $654 this past year on becoming a teacher, which, if I'm not wrong, $654 is probably less than 1 week's salary.
Considering that entry level is somewhere between $40,000, and you break that into 52 weeks, so you get something like, wow, suddenly you get something like Dane not being able to do math anymore.
It's alright, man. You can't.
You have
remember.
a calculator right there.
Listen, I know it's a lot less than I would want, so. I don't do that math.
I mean, you want to start making like twice as much as I do on that. Which is to say that if I make 40,000, you want to make 80,000. Right.
The main problem with being a teacher is the pay. I would love to be a teacher. It's just I can't afford the pay.
See, I'm still hoping that Lauren carries her weight, and by her weight I mean also mine.
I wouldn't hope that. I love Lauren, but I just don't see her doing that.
I do. I think once she finds out what she really wants to do, she'll rock it.
Hopefully.
Oh,
Hopefully.
man.
Hopefully one day Kelsey will make way more money than me, and then I could just be a teacher on the side.
I mean, it's basically set up so she can.
True. I'm setting her up for greatness right now.
Oh, but let me tell you something here. You know my sister, of course.
Yeah, my brother's ex-girlfriend.
So, cannot be confirmed by any party outside of you and your brother right now, but...
And you believe it.
So, this story here is about how dreams do come true. How it's never too late to really come to fruition.
You're gonna make me cry.
She recently, and by recently I mean like over the last week, she stopped going to school. and she took up pottery classes, and she's been doing that for a while now. Um, but this last week, she's been talking to her old drum teacher from high school, and yeah, drum teacher. um, I so she was trying to talk to him because she's gonna go judge a drum performance, a competition, if you will. And she was like, "Hey, can I have some pointers, by the way, and such? Like, what should I be looking for? How should I treat it? Should I be harsh? Should I be lenient? Whatever." And he was like, "Oh, well, before I tell you all these details, how about I ask you, do you want to learn music again? Like, do you want to learn percussion and such?" Now, my sister was really good at percussion back in the day, and she's still pretty good. She's probably lost most of her chops. I mean, I certainly have too.
My brother and your sister were in the percussion band.
Yeah, they were. So, he's like, "Hey, so do you want to like join and stuff?" And she's like, "Man, it's my dream. I've always wanted to, but I don't know. I don't really have cash for that and whatever." He's like, "Oh, well, I should let you know. One, I'm a doctor now. As in, I have a doctorate in music.
Oh, okay.
Like, by the way, I don't teach music anymore. I perform surgeries. No. And two, I'm like the head of the entire music division over in Little Rock, Arkansas."
Okay.
And she's like, "That's cool, I guess?" And he's like, "Yeah, so, I have a lot of, grant money sitting under my belt right now, and you were really good at music. So, how about this? How about I use some of that grant money to float you, a scholarship. You come over here, you help me, teach some of these people how to, do drums and stuff, and you join the school and you get a degree in music, in performance, and in teaching music." And she's like, "Oh, so just for like a semester? I still can't really." And he's like, "No, no, no, for like 3 years." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, so like scholarship for 3 years worth of time and stuff, as long as you help me out with teaching. And then by joining one performing art each semester, you also get paid a $16,000 salary. Because they have to, just like in most other universities, they pay you to do the performance because they know you take a lot of time and other opportunities out from your belt. So like orchestra during off seasons, and then pep band or marching band during the others."
Okay.
And she's like, "Okay, but like I also need to live somewhere." And he's like, "Oh, that's very convenient because my wife and I have a spare bedroom now that our son's like out of the house and stuff." And she's like, "So, let me get this straight. Scholarship for 3 years. I'm gonna get paid to go to school again. And I can just like room and board with you. And they legalized medical marijuana. And my pit bull's not gonna be illegal over there." Yeah, okay then. So, in this little section that I have, I think, aptly dubbed Dreams Do Come True, my sister very well might be living out her, like, lifelong dream.
That's really cool.
At the ripe age of, I think, she's 7 years older than me, so...
28.
No, 30.
29?
She'd be turning 30
Is my
this
brother
month.
30?
I guess so.
My brother's turning 30 in July. Wow.
Right? Yeah, this is the year.
That's crazy.
I know.
Dude, we're gonna be old.
We're gonna be old?
We're gonna die one day. Wow.
Oh no.
That's crazy. No, that's really cool, dude.
Right?
Does your
Like,
sister already have a bachelor degree?
no, she only has an associate's.
Okay.
She's had a lot of scholastic trouble over the past years.
So have I.
Yeah, well, you've had. Sorry, Steppy, if you're listening, but I feel like you've had better reasons. Being in the Navy and such.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even want to go to school right now. The only reason I'm doing it is because the Navy's GI Bill is going to pay me to go to school. And honestly, I still don't know what to major in.
Just like, alright, what you need to do is you need to go over there and major in liberal arts or
No.
English.
No.
Why? Because officially, somehow, in some magical way, you will be the first liberal arts or English major to be making money. It'll be crazy. It'll be impressive, and nobody will believe you. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a liberal arts major," and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm making like more than you are." They're gonna be like, "No, you aren't." It's like, "Yeah, I definitely am actually."
If I do that, I'm going to do women's studies.
Nah, you might shoot yourself.
Oh, I might get shot.
That too.
I don't think I'll pass the class.
It'll be a race to the gun.
I'd be like, on the test, it would be like, like that old religion versus science question with, like, how was the world created? Was it evolution or God? And, that's the conundrum. For me, it would be like, do women get equal pay, yes or no? I'd be like, no.
I mean, I know I took one class. It was women's psychology.
That's an oxymoron.
Actually, though most of the class was indeed an oxymoron, the name isn't. I was really hoping it would lead into like, why do they do these things? Why is this more prominent? Etc. Etc. And I had actually joined it because Robert said he was joining it too. Of course, the day of the drop date, he didn't show up to class, and the next day when I finally got in contact with him, he was like, "Oh no, I dropped that,"
That is
and
pure.
I was stuck in the class.
That's pure Robert, expecting him to go somewhere. And who's Robert?
Exactly. Which is why he's a rogue in the D&D thing. But so I was in the class and I was I was dealing with it. I pretty much just played like video games most of the time in that class, or brought Lauren and then spoke with Lauren during the class.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear I'm not like sexist or anything. At least I don't think so. But that class was arguably the most boring class ever, outside of industrial psychology or intro to industrial psychology. It was just super boring because it was a bunch of stuff about how well, you pretty much you said it. Do women get equal pay? And then a whole like analysis as to how the patriarchal society is crushing the mentality of the female like paradigm.
I would have gone crazy. People would have shot me in that class.
Probably.
I'm so gonna take one of those classes.
I mean, again, I want you to, and I want you to film it. Like, wear a body cam to class.
The problem with the GI Bill is that I need to pass the classes to keep on getting paid to go.
Oh no, that's so difficult.
If I go to a women's studies class, they might fail me on spite.
Okay, think about it this way. Um, if you like suck it up for a little while and you just like BS your way through the class, you just regurgitate what you know they want to hear and stuff. Um, and then you get a degree that says you are knowledgeable about this stuff. That you are not just knowledgeable, but you are pretty much an authority on the matter. And then you continue talking the way you do now. Like, that would be also brilliant. They'd be like, what, that, no? And you'd be like, hold on, pull out, like, pocket degree, check it. And they're gonna be like, what?
You see, I have a master's in women's studies. That would be funny.
um, well, looking at the time right now, it seems that, our session has come to an end.
That is true. It is an hour and 1 minute and 13 seconds, and continuously will go up.
Such is time, as we know it.
Wibbly wobbly.
So, I hope you have a wonderful day. Or, well, I guess night, as it so be.
Or whenever time you're listening to this, have a wonderful time.
Exactly. Um, just don't do anything that, John wouldn't do.
And Dane would do.
Exactly. Don't be me.
Don't be me.
Be yourself. Live life. Love life.
And prosper.
Amen.
Alright.